Hello, another red piece
And cameras. Now this race is going to be really interesting. Our runners just started the countdown, so we should see that on stream soon. But this is going to be a random start for this race, which is I'm really excited for. We can't start in Frigate, and we can't start in Impact Crater, but everywhere else is on the table. Any room in the game. All right, and we're off. Just 10 seconds down, we will be starting. Once our runners should be pretty synced up. And again, like I mentioned last race, for those who are watching, we are in Armory Hunt mode, which means that we start with just a quarter of the health we usually do, which is why Brut Inc. just died instantaneously to some miniature beetles. No big deal, obviously, but you gotta be careful. You can't rush it or stuff like that's gonna happen. Our energy tanks are also going to give just a quarter of the health. There's going to be a lot more of them, but they'll be giving us only 25 each. We start with all of these movement items like you can see on the tracker, but we need to find our weapons. There's an E-Tank on Hive Totem. And we don't have missiles because of our starting location, so we're just going to have to leave. Sadly, we did get kind of a boring start location, but I will admit that death at the start is kind of fun. Despite that death, Bra Inc. is actually kind of ahead here, just a little bit. Just based on movement. And Cameron now takes a death himself. Most unfortunate. That's some good water. Be sure if you've been watching our races for the past few hours or so that you are well hydrated. And there's our missile launcher on Vault Ledge. Very nice find. That's going to give us access to all 250 missiles as per the preset settings. And that's bombs on the boost ledge. That's an item we need. X-ray visor to peek through the tree. I didn't see exactly what it was. This E-Tank will give us a nice handy health refill. And now we have missiles and bombs. We can check all of the items in Ruined Shrine. Cameron doesn't quite get that jump onto Vault Ledge first try. This one isn't too tricky. You can do it with just an L jump, and he manages to get it. There's nothing on the boss item in Ruined Shrine. Cameron gets his bombs as well. But he has to be careful. The scarabs deal a lot of damage. Actually, no, those are the beetles. I think the scarabs are the tiny ones. I always get them mixed up. We do get an E-Tank though, so we're feeling a little bit better on health now. Definitely an interesting starting location, though. Because of where we started and where missiles were, we are going to be isolating transport access north, and also gallery tunnel to a lesser extent. We're going to have to come back later if we want to check those items. Random Start is not the only RA today. We also have Spring Ball enabled. So once our runners get bombs, both of them already have bombs, by the way, we will be able to use the Spring Ball while we are morphed. Like what you saw Cameron just do, that was a Spring Ball jump. You'll also notice that Bra Inc. has energy low despite having most of his energy. That's actually just a quirk of the way the game checks for energy low. If you have only a single E-Tank, it will give you energy low if you drop below, I believe, 30 health. But once you get an E-Tank, it will give you energy low the moment you're on your last E-Tank. And actually, that doesn't actually work based on the number of E-Tanks you have. It actually just works based on your total health amount. And because he now has 4 of our 25 energy E-Tanks, that would be the same as getting one normal 100 energy E-Tank. Just a bit of a quirk there. So even though he has the majority of his health, that low health alarm was still going off. And there it is again. Yes, that is correct. Our E-Tanks are only worth 25 in this seed. As I have mentioned before, and Bra Inc. is going to be attempting the Arbor Chamber out of bounds here. Cameron, meanwhile, is getting super missiles from Alcove. Energy Tank and Arbor Chamber. Well, it's not so much an error, you know, it's just... It's not really the kind of thing that would be a priority for developers. It's just kind of a quirk. Because when that happens, they are still sort of at low energy. So it's not like the alarm is wrong, it just occurs when we wouldn't expect it to, is the way I would explain it. Cameron struggles with the jump to get up to Artifact Temple door, but and this ends up going around the long way. Bra Inc. picking up their super missiles now. A little bit late of a camera. Bra Inc. not heading to Artifact Temple right away gets a free artifact in FCS. Or would have gotten it if they had landed in the right spot, but we'll get this with a slope jump, easy peasy. Ruined Gallery. Cameron doing the slow method. Biohazard containment. Oh, that's frigate. Chozo Ice Temple. FCS, which is what we just got on Bra Inc.'s side. Watery Hall. These are pretty good so far, besides Biohazard. Vault. Oh, these are total freebies. All of these are really accessible, except for Biohazard Containment, which requires super missiles. But we have... really, what we're missing for Biohazard is actually our beams. We need Ice Beam and Wave Beam to get into Frigate. We would also ideally get Gravity Suit, but that isn't strictly required, and we do have enough movement items to make it work gravityless. Yes, we do also need Charge Beam. I don't remember where Charge Beam was. Did Cameron already get Charge Beam, or did I just... did he just not get it? Ah, yeah, you're right. It was in Root Cave, wasn't it? Bra Inc. going to be taking a save warp. Very smart move here. This is going to let us get a gallery which we know is an artifact very quickly, as well as checking transport access north without any hassle. Let's charge beam for Cameron. Ink, I really like this save warp. This is a really smart maneuver. Plus, we take that save to lock in all the progress we made over the past 10 minutes. Very, very smooth move. Nothing in TTB, so that's not going to be very helpful. Second artifact for Ink. Gallery Tunnel. What are we going to get today? An energy tank. Very nice. And save warping sadly doesn't quite update the music correctly because ordinarily when you load into a save station, which is where the game expects to be spawning you, you'll hit a music trigger for the save station. That's why the save stations all have a specific track associated with them, instead of just using their area's normal music. Or at least that's sort of why. You could arrange it so that it just played their area's music, but long story short, they put music triggers in every save station, so that your music always gets updated when you load into one from, say, the main menu or whatever. They did not do that for every room in the game, so because we save warped to just some random hallway, that didn't happen there. Thankfully, entering the elevator room gets our music on the right track. And we are in a perfect position to hit this artifact in Volta. Cameron trying to peek through the tree. Oh no, we're just going to open it up. And there's nothing in there. Worth noting that because our runners start with X-ray visor, we can't actually just peek what the item in tree is without actually getting it, if we wanted to. That isn't going to be super relevant this seat because we obviously start with, well, not we start with super missiles, but we managed to get them very, very early. So we can just go get tree without really checking. But you did see Ink actually check it very early, I believe, before we got supers. No, apparently he didn't. I must be misremembering that. Ink just slightly forgets about that spring ball for the first step, but uses it for the other two. And we also see that Cameron did not make use of the same ingenious save warp that Ink did, which is a really missed opportunity. Also misses the missiles to open up the ruined gallery wall. Even the second one didn't land. Third time's a charm. It's going to be Cameron's first artifact. Watery Hall is going to be another one of our artifacts. I didn't see if it was in the upper location or if it was in lower Watery Hall. Either way, we can access it. Okay, it's in lower Watery Hall today. And we are going to be able to get both Dynamo items without any fuss, since we start with the Spider Ball. The Plasmite has some... Ooh, there's our Various suit. Dynamo is one of the only rooms in the game that has Plasmites. The other two, I believe, are Ruined Fountain and that one room on the way to Hive Totem. There might be some other ones I'm forgetting, though. That's Cameron's second artifact there. And there's our Watery Hall artifact. 4 artifacts in. We have, let's see, Biohazard Containment was one of the remainders. That's the one that I remembered. I believe the other one was, what, Furnace? No, Chozo Ice Temple. That's what it was. So that would be requiring Plasma. So yeah, we have already got most of our artifacts out of the way, which is very nice. Brought Ink taking a save here, possibly a save warp, but I don't see why he would save warp in this situation. Everything he wants is over here. Unless, did he forget to go to Transport Access North? Surely not, right? Possibly he's forgotten that his save warp point is going to be just on the other side of Chozo, which is a very helpful place to go right now. Yeah, I guess he forgot to go to Tan. Transport Access North is this room right here behind, the room that Bruttink's in right now, behind Hive Totem, but apparently we already got it. Normally it doesn't get mentioned a lot because it's just right next to Hive Totem and you almost always have the tools to get it. Also, I didn't realize that piston pushed the bomb up even when you laid it in midair. That's funny. I have never seen that before. Is that documented? I don't know, somebody clipped that, I guess? Maybe not. It's probably not that important. Very suit for Cameron. I don't know, I probably just haven't seen it because it's not that important. Cameron also forgetting that this is an artifact. Understandable. He's taking Lava Lake, very convenient. There's our Wave Beam in Triclops Pit. Very nice find. Very nice find. That's one of the 2 beams that we need to get our item in Frigate. Oh, I accidentally marked Wave Buster. Need a second to let that populate before I can undo that. That was a misclick. They're right next to each other on the tracker. My bad. I'm not so sure that Cam would be worried about his health at this point. Cameron is definitely not like a bad player. Most of our players are pretty good at Metroid Prime, or they wouldn't have entered a tournament to prove it. And in Chozo, there's not really that much that can deal a lot of damage. Watery Hall isn't that big of a threat, to be honest. You can do that with, like, you know, one normal E-Tank. Pretty comfortable. Poison water does pretty slow damage, relatively speaking, especially since you got Various Suit. That's already a 10% damage reduction just from having Various Suit on. It's not quite as free as if we had Gravity, but, like, you know, it's not really a huge concern. Cameron gonna be opting to fight Zoid here. We'll see if that was a good play. Zoid could have our Ice Beam or our Plasma, which would be phenomenal. Back of Zoid just has an E-Tank, though. That's not going to be something we're looking for. We won't say no to it since we have the opportunity to pick it up with no time expenditure. Zoid, for those who aren't familiar, is an auto-scroller. I keep calling him Zoid, but this is actually in-game referred to as the Incinerator drone. Zoid is the nickname, and actually technically the legal name nowadays, of the developer who programmed the Incinerator drone's RNG, so that's why we call him Zoid. These war wasps, I believe they're called barbed war wasps, getting in the way a little bit. And that's, I believe, a flamethrower in Warrior Shrine. Yes, indeed. Valid. Valid seed. Misses the charge shot. That's going to be causing a very small delay, but ultimately we still get, you know, not a terrible Zoid, I guess. I wouldn't be able to tell for sure without the music. There is nothing in Transport Tunnel A. "21 minutes in, this seat is already pretty wide open. We just have to find our beams and get our phase-on suit and get out." This could almost be a 1-hour seat. I could believe it. It really depends on where our final items are. Zoid, it turns out, wasn't the play, though, so it's going to put Cameron at a pretty significant disadvantage. It's an energy tank on the Shoreline's ice, and I can't see what this item in, that's an energy tank in the lighthouse. Taking a save here, not a bad idea. Obviously not a save warp, since we'd want to be here in Phadrana. There's a lot of items we can go check out. Oh. I'm eating my words now, apparently. I'm curious what Bra Inc.'s game plan here is. Are we interested in Flocker? We have Wave Beam for Ven. Then again, you know, it's not super expensive to go do Tower of Light, you know, we have Very Suit and Wave, so we can do TCA, Training Chamber. We can't do Magma Pool, but we can check it with our X-Ray Visor, so we won't be in the dark on what that is if we go there. Cameron, meanwhile, is making the journey up Arboretum, scanning all the runic symbols. You can skip this part of Arboretum with a good bomb jump over the gate, but this is the intended method of getting to Flogger through this room. It's also worth noting that with the items we have, we could go into Flogger through the back, which we might see Bra do, if Bra Inc. decides to sustain the Chozo play all the way into Flagra. When you go to Flogger through the back, you completely skip a lot of the cutscenes, or specifically the intro cutscene you can kind of skip, or at least you can overlap it with the death cutscene, which saves some time. We don't have the power bombs to make the most out of a Flogger from the back play, but it still could be quite nice. Bra Inc. going to be using the missiles to inspect this item at the top of Tower of Light before getting it blind. And it turns out that it's just an energy tank, so we're almost certainly not going to continue up the tower. Instead, we are going to peek Tower Chamber here, which is this room that we can get to down here, which is a simple slope jump. With Space Jump, that's trivially easy. I love how when Flogger lands, it actually sends you up in the air a little bit. That's a neat touch. That's a sick touch. Pretty rad. Cameron doing the fight more or less as intended. With Space Jump, it's pretty easy to do a scan dash to skip the mirrors and just directly destroy the bomb slots from just outside the tunnel. But we don't see Cameron attempting to... Oh, that's phase on suit in TCA. That's big. Big news. That's going to be huge. Bra Inc. is going to be resetting? I'm confused. Oh, well, I think... he just wanted to check those items, and I guess he's decided that he's going to go get that later. Perhaps he intends to do Frigate through the back instead of through the front. If he finds Gravity Suit, that could play out pretty well. And that would have let him just dip into Chozo real quick to grab that. Regardless, it's very close to his starting room, so it's not going to be a huge hassle to go grab, regardless of what route he takes. Ice Ruins East, what do we have today? We have 2 items in Ice Ruins East. One of them we can't get until we get Plasma Beam, and the other one is this Spider Track item, which is going to be an energy tank. And Flagra rewards us with an energy tank. Ooh, we don't want that. Nothing behind the ice in Ice Ruins East. Chozo Ice Temple, we've already determined is going to be an artifact. That was in our hints. We still have, in Early Fen, we have Chapel of the Elders, which is Mama Shiga's room, where you ordinarily get the Wave Beam. And we also have Fendrana Canyon, where you would ordinarily get the Boost Ball. And Ice Ruins West, which is behind some ice that you have to melt with Plasma. Cameron is going to be doing early wild. We have the super missiles, so this is completely in logic going to ghosts right now. We also have X-ray, which makes this much more convenient. Ghosts also has nothing for us. Unfortunate. That's unfortunate. May as well grab it, I guess. Just an energy tank and ruined courtyard. Handy health refill, but not much else. Cameron gonna be getting that wave beam now. Not gonna be happy to see that, I would imagine, after all of that Chozo stuff. Quickly get to the energy tank at Observatory. Brink, meanwhile, grabbing the flamethrower. Sorry, Cameron grabbing the flamethrower. My bad. That's not true. Warrior Shrine was our flamethrower. Very important item. Clearly. It's Gravity Suit. Very handy item in Research Lab Aether. That is going to make our trip to Biohazard a lot easier. E-Tank and Research Core, however. Choosing not to keep that Gravity Suit. That's definitely an understandable decision. So that's the second suit that we've decided we don't want. So right now we have got to be on the lookout for beams. I think Bra Inc. is going to be interested in fighting Thardus given our current items. We have Supers, Charge Beam, and Wave Beam to open that door. We have obviously our Morph Blockers as a starting item to get through this tunnel. We have everything we would really want for a Thardus fight. Sadly, we don't have Plasma Beam going into this, which can make Thardus a lot easier, and we don't have main Power Bombs either, which is another handy convenience item for this fight. But we still have a lot of essentials. And we have plenty of missiles to spend here. 208 from the looks of things. So this is not going to be an inconvenient fight, although we are going to get a bit of a slideshow going. This is on our end, so this isn't your stream lagging, as you can tell just by looking over at Cameron. Cameron is going to be going for that energy tank and shorelines. And you always want to lay those bombs when Thardus is rolling towards you, because that almost instantly blasts off the cover for the face-on. And that is one rock eliminated. And that's an Ice Beam, required Thardus. Raw Inc. is going to be receiving the Ice Beam for fighting Thardus, which is definitely a good return on investment. We do need that Ice Beam to get into Frigate and get one of our artifacts, so that is going to be very important. Here's the E-Tank. In addition, we will still need to find a Plasma Beam as well. That's going to be required for our Chozo Ice Temple artifact, so we aren't going to be able to get Phazon Suit Hint until we get that Plasma Beam. Bra Inc. seems interested in grabbing that gravity suit again. I would be too if I was in this situation, because we can very conveniently just go in up to the bottom item in Aether, which is just this next room. Go grab it, and then just hop right back out. It's not a huge time investment at all. Obviously, we have to cross through this hallway as well. Return of gravity suit. Screen ball does allow us to jump that railing without unmorphing, which is very convenient. Nope. More slideshow. That's unfortunate. We should be back to normal, though, in just a moment. There we go. Fall down frozen pike. Frost Cave, what do you have for us? Oh wait, this isn't Frost Cave. I'm getting my rooms mixed up. That's the one next to Gravity Chamber we're in. We do have Gravity Suits, so these items are going to be pretty accessible. The grapple item is just a nothing. And it's an energy tank in the lower Gravity Chamber. Not interested. Energy tank and security cave. We can't check storage cave because we don't have the plasma beam, unfortunately. Hunter here is being a little bit evasive, but we managed to nail him. That's an energy tank in Frost Cave. That is true. It is Plasma Go mode, so it's not super relevant. Brawink just finishing up with Farfen, probably going to start heading back. And that's main power bombs and transport access A. Ice Beam was on Thardus. We could have vanilla plasma here, which would just definitely be very interesting and also not very nice for our runners. Which is why we see Bright checking plasma processing now. Nothing in plasma processing. Oh, that's unfortunate. Cameron gets the gravity suit himself. I didn't realize the ice scarabs could charge like that. Interesting. Let's see what Cameron does when we scan this energy tank. And are we walking back? It looks like we are. Bright meanwhile, takes a save warp from the workstation elevator. Interesting choice. Might be interested in doing Farchozo. Maybe from there, using that as a jumping off point to do bar skip, head into mines. That could work out pretty well, I think. Probably also going to grab our Phazon suit on the way, since we already know where that is. Interesting. Brian possibly forgetting about the Phazon suit? I'm not sure. Maybe he just doesn't want to get it right now. Again, it is only a few rooms from starting location, so it's definitely not the end of the world to skip it. And we are really more concerned with this plasma hunt. Alright, Brian is locking in for a Zoid fight. I'll be right back, I just can get some water. I have returned from the hydration break. Bad Zoid, unfortunate. And of course, we already know that this wasn't going to have any kind of fruitful result, so Bruttink's just going to get nothing and leave. Cameron, meanwhile, has save warped out of labs and unfortunately will be completely missing out on that ice beam, which is going to be necessary to complete the seed. Even if we could be thinking about something like Exo Skip, we still need Ice Beam to get to Impact Crater because one of our artifacts is locked behind it. In fact, we need all 3 beams to get our artifacts this seed, so that's not going to be... We need that Ice Beam. That's not going to be optional. Cameron doing the intended strategy to climb Ruined Shrine, which I find a little bit quaint. You don't see that tunnel very often in speed gameplay. Let's see, Crossway is going to be nothing. We won't be able to do Elder Chamber, but it doesn't really matter anyways, since we are only looking for Plasma. Manages to get the standable first try. That one can be a bit tricky. You can see people slide off the side of that peg since it's rounded instead of being square. And so it is good to get that first try. Now we are going to have to fight these ghosts. Thankfully we have all the items we could ever want. Let's ghost down. Getting a missile refill. We have 177 missiles, so this is only going to be giving us 63. No, wait, 73. My bad. So it's a bit of an odd choice, but you know, I think it's still pretty base to go for the missile station. Well, it's sort of technically Ice Beam with Charge has better DPS, but Ice Spreader can be more flexible. It enables some new possibilities, so it definitely does have applications in Exo, especially for some of our lower tier players who can't consistently aim charged ice. Even for very good players, getting those to land is pretty difficult because Exo moves a lot and Ice Beam is pretty slow. There's a bit of a difficulty in landing it consistently. And again, you can use Ice Spreader for stuff like turnaround shots. Face on Super Cameron. But to say that Ice Spreader doesn't help on Exo, it's kind of, I think, missing the forest for the trees. It's a bit like saying that the M249 in Counter-Strike has the best DPS, so therefore it's the best gun and everyone should use it. When it really is. That's just not telling the whole story. So we are going into frigate through the front, which I think is interesting. This is gonna be probably for the best for checking cargo freight lift. I'm not sure exactly. I think you'd have to get a really fast bar skip for it to be faster to go through backwards. And yeah, this is not going to be a sub-hour seed, it would appear. And that's unfortunate. It was looking pretty jet early on. With those artifacts. But the beams were just not forthcoming. They would have had to be in like Magma or maybe like early Fen. You'll also see Bruh Inc. hitting some of the power conduits without the thermal visor on. You don't actually need the thermal visor at any point in the game to do anything. Anything that you could do with the thermal visor, you could do without it, just by knowing where things are. The same is true of X-ray visor, except on Omega Pirate, for which you, mandatory, must have the X-ray visor to damage OP. The visors are also very useful on Essence, but again, not mandatory. It's our 5th artifact. The last one is in Chozo Ice Temple and is plasma locked. It's an ice tank, or sorry, an E-tank in Antichambers. And then nothing in Hydro Access Tunnel, so that's really not going to be helping either of our players. Camera taking a save next to Reflection Pool. And a save warp. No bar skip today. We're doing bar skip. This race. Great Tree Chamber has just an E-tank for us, and we don't have power bombs to check Life Grove or Life Grove Tunnel, so that's not going to be an option until later. So it's straight into mines now. We've already basically done everything in Fen and in Chozo, so and in Talon now that we've done Frigate. So this is really the only option that remains. Cameron picks up the 4th artifact in frigate crash site. Without the ice beam, we will not be able to enter frigate, however. There's Plasma Beam and Storage Depot B. That's go mode. That's go mode. That's very, very good, because we went through, we just beelined that. We really couldn't have asked for anything better. Yes, Broad does need to get the Phazon suit again, but it's probably going to be getting the artifact in Ice Temple first. After we get both of those, we can start final bosses. Yeah, main PBs could be quite handy to have for final bosses, specifically for Essence, where Essence will drop the Fission Metroids, which can be quite hard to deal with otherwise. Maybe not, since you can deal with them using the Phazon Beam. Hard to say. And that's Bruink's final artifact. Been making some pretty good movement through this Kendrana route. And we are immediately going to take that save war. Let's go get our face on suit. So yeah, we are going to be skipping the power bombs. And that's every item we need to complete the seed. Bada boom. You're thinking of Transport Access A. That is where our main power bombs are. Taking the ship refill. It's going to give us full health and ammo. This camera's ice beam. Getting a lot of not so great Ridley. Misses the freehand shot. That one can be a bit tricky. Doesn't shoot in time to hit that one. And there we go, that's Ridley down. Very fast crater climb. That was really good. That's the first time I've also seen the spider track actually used there. But with that level of boost ball maneuvering, it definitely works. Cameron gets his HUD disrupted a bit by the gel zap, but we're back now. And we're on to subchamber 2 now. Since we have all those missiles, this is going to be pretty doable. Managed to get another cheeky super in there on the turnaround, which is a skip wave phase. And so it's been pretty by the numbers, so far, so definitely not going to be too tricky. Now that we're in subchamber 3, Plasma's going to get into the mix. It's going to be very helpful because Plasma does a lot of damage. Now we're on the final subchamber. This is where EXO can really start pulling out all the stops. There's nothing that stops them from doing anything they want. It's pure RNG. So they can change faces constantly. And that's EXO down. Bada boom. Now for Essence. With both visors and all three suits, this is basically an auto-scroller, so we'll be done in a few minutes here. Plasma was in Storage Depot B. Yes, we're grappling one, yes. Worth noting that we don't have power bombs for this fight, so we have to deal with the Metroids using other means. These are just normal Metroids, thankfully, but we can also just use the phase-on beams. Kind of just obliterate them. Cameron going for a frigate crash site climb, but I don't see why he's doing this when we have to go get the artifact that's in the frigate. Especially when Cameron is struggling this much with it. I think he should really cut his losses and just go to frigate. He had to go there anyways. And Brut Inc. has finished with an official racetime.gg time of 1 hour, 23 minutes, and 5 seconds. Cameron, meanwhile, has opted to forfeit. GG. We will be joined by our runners in a moment. Hello, Cameron.
Hello.
GG.
GG. Wow, that was so fast.
And there is Bra Inc. Yeah,
Hello.
that was a fast seed, I gotta say.
Good game.
Yeah, good game.
Yeah,
Good
GG.
game. You both played pretty good. It was looking at first like it was gonna be a really jet seed, but then it just wasn't.
Yeah, yeah. I was like, oh my god, phase on and wave super fast. Those are pretty quick artifacts. And then ice is on Thardus, and then plasma's in mines, and that's great, you know.
Yeah, Plasma Beam was on Storage Depot B. Unfortunately, Cameron did not see it this race. Mostly
Yeah.
because the Ice Beam was just an absolute quagmire. Can you tell me about your thinking process for Ice Beam?
Me?
Cameron.
Oh, yeah, I guess got unlucky. I was trying to save Thardus for last because I knew it would take a bit, but it ended up being there.
Did
And
you do Flagra?
I did do Flagra. So I think that lost me a lot of time too.
I was really worried about Flagra potentially having something. Like, I was really worried that's where Plasma was gonna be.
Yeah, that really could have come back to haunt you. Especially if that Mines play didn't instantly pan out.
Yeah, I mean, at that point, though, it was either in Mines or Flagra, so I just decided to go to Mines.
That's definitely a fair decision, especially considering Flogger is, like, we're right next to your starting location. By the way, why did you pick random starting location this season? And what did you think about the starting location?
So, we were gonna do a bunch of RAs, like, we were gonna start with Random Beam, and we were gonna do a bunch of stuff, but you're not allowed to RA anything that affects the item pool for this week. So we just stuck with Random Start, even if it really didn't do much.
Yeah, especially with this seed where we started like in an area accessible from the very beginning.
Yeah,
yeah,
both of you died
immediately
both of you died to the
We both died. Did I die first?
Yes, you did by
Okay.
about a minute.
I think I might have beat Cestrion there. Maybe, just maybe.
I think it was like 23 seconds and you died. And
Yeah,
bear in mind, most of that was like just the intro text, which takes like 8 seconds or something ridiculous.
So you won the death percent speedrun, so that's good.
I hope I beat Cestrion with that death.
I hope so too. Wavebuster was in Main Quarry and Ice Spreader was in Ice Ruins West. I did not see either of those.
I saw them both. I just didn't pick them up.
Understandable.
I was thinking, because I was in Main Quarry and I saw it, I was like...
Were you thinking about the main power bombs, maybe getting those while you were getting Chosen Ice Temple? Because somebody in chat brought that up, and that seemed like an interesting idea. Or were you just going to rough it with the Hyper Mode and Ice Beam?
Yeah, I just did that. I didn't want to go all the way to transport access to get power bombs. Just didn't feel worth it. But man,
I saw immediately after getting the ice beam, I went and saw power bombs. My first thought was, oh my god, if I can find the plasma beam out here in Farfandrana, I'm gonna be in business. Unfortunately, it wasn't there.
Yeah, unfortunate.
did you see Phazon suit before you got ice?
Yeah, I got phase on suit before ice.
All right, yeah, I did too. After I got wave, I immediately save warped in Fendrana. I like to do that just to get Training Chamber and Tower of Light out of the way.
I really liked that play, actually. I think that played out pretty well for you. You ended up having to reacquire both your Gravity and Phazon suit. I suppose you could have skipped Gravity, but you ended up going back for both of them.
Yeah, I wanted to get Gravity because I wanted to do Forwards Frigate, which I did end up doing. And I don't really have much experience with Hydro Access Tunnel wall boosts.
That's fair, definitely. That requires a lot of, knowing what you're doing. Wall boosts can be a bit tricky.
Yeah, and it was just a little bit out of the way, so I'm like, might as well go pick it up.
I was actually very glad to see that one of the artifacts was in the frigate, because I cannot do bar skip. So, especially given that power bombs weren't accessible until after visiting mines, it was like a good reason for me to actually go through frigate and not feel bad about it.
Yeah, that's I was glad about that too, because I can do bar skip, but it will take me several minutes to get it. So I'd just rather go through frigate, and I can pick up the artifact in there. And then also, there were so few checks left that the 2 unknowns in frigate were really necessary for me to pick up. And having the knowledge of power bombs are locked by plasma beam was big, because I knew it essentially was either not in mines or very, very early in mines. So I think that helped me with the routing quite a bit.
Yes. And I do apologize, because I know neither of you are going to be making it into that top 8, because you both have, I believe, like 3 wins each.
Yeah, I'm 3 wins. But
Yep.
honestly, I'll take 3 and 3. Like,
That's still pretty good. You know,
yeah,
that's...
when I signed up for this tournament, I had not played Prime 1 Rando before. So I will happily take 3 and 3.
Wow, yeah, congrats. That's really impressive.
Yeah, you both did really good this tournament. You should feel pretty good for yourselves.
Thank you. My goal was
Yeah,
to
it's
win
been
at
a lot
least
of
one
fun.
match, so I'm happy.
So
that
yeah,
that
you really you smashed that one, definitely.
happened.
So was there any like routing divergence? Mostly just then.
It's mostly
Stardust?
just that ice beam, yes. Thardis,
Yeah.
you did a lot sooner.
I wandered
Yeah,
around for quite some time before getting to Thardis.
You'll be able to see the nuances in more detail by going through the VOD, which I do recommend you do. It was an interesting match.
Yeah, absolutely.
Anyways, I will ask that you in chat follow our runners. You could
follow
follow
Hero.
them there.
Thanks for commentating.
Thank you, thank you. You're welcome. I just did 2 solos in a row, so I'm kind of a little bit tired. Are there any final comments you want to get out of the way, though?
Had a ton of fun this tournament. Thanks to everyone who was involved in putting it together, and I'm excited to participate in the next one.
Yeah, the next one's going to be pretty rocking.
Yeah, a lot of fun. Can't wait for CGC.
And maybe you two can join me in the commentary booth for another race.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna be commentating throughout top 8 probably.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
Yeah, definitely. There aren't any more races today, but there are 3 different races tomorrow you can tune in on. There's a 6 p.m. race between Digglerev, which is one of our top players, and Baja Blood. I'd recommend you check out that one. It's going to be pretty much standard preset, but these are really good players. You should check them out. 7 p.m. there's going to be RoboScout versus Alliance Thompson, and at 9 p.m. EDT there's going to be Nye versus Emerald Pie. You should really check those races out. For now, though, I will see you next mission.